build upon the percent proportion lesson that we did last time. So when we did percent proportions last time, we used the formula is over of equals percent over 100. And I gave you some very short problems in word form. You were able to fill in the formula and you solved it like a regular proportion. So today we're going to do a quick review of that, and then we're going to do a couple examples of word problems where there's given situations, and I'm going to show you how to use the same formula in order to solve that. So your goal for today is I can solve word problems using the percent proportion. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so these are some review problems from last time. I'm going to do them with you. So problem number 1, and remember that we annotate them as we read them so that it's easier to fill them in. So we have 50 is 20% of what number? So we set up our fraction bar. Our freebie is 100. We have a percent. It goes over the 100. 50 is, that means it's on top. Of what number? That's our question. So we have our x there. So when we cross multiply, and I don't have a lot of space here, so I'm going to kind of just sort of solve it as we go along. We're going to get 20x equals, and 100 times 50 is going to give us 5,000. So let's see if I can squeeze it in there. Okay. We're going to box the variable, divide by 20, divide by 20. Our 20s are going to cancel here, and we're going to get x equals, and when we take 5,000 and divide it by 20, we're going to get 250. And that's going to be our final answer for this one, and I'll box it off. Okay, so let's go ahead and try our next one. What percent of 20 is 4? So we're going to set up our fraction bars. Our freebie is 100. What percent? We don't know. There's our x. Of 20, that's our bottom. Is 4, that's our top. We're going to go ahead and solve. So we have 20 times x, which is 20x, equals 100 times 4, that's going to be 400. We're going to box the variable, divide by 20, and we do it to both sides. The 20s are going to cancel. We're left with x equals, and 400 divided by 20 is going to be 20. I'll box that off for you. And remember, the easiest way to think of these is in terms of a test. So if you got 4 questions right and there were 20 questions total, what would be your percentage? 20%. All right, here we go. What number is 70% of 250? Set up our fraction bars. 100 is always our freebie. We have a percent this time. It goes over the 100. All right, what number is? Okay, so is our top. That's our question. Of 250, that's our bottom. We're going to go ahead and cross multiply. So 250 times 70 is going to be 17,500 equals 100 times x is 100x. All right, we're going to try and box the variable there. Okay, we're going to divide by the coefficient it's attached to, which is 100. These 100s will cancel out. We're left with x equals, and 17,500 divided by 100 is going to be 175. So what does that mean? Well, if your test is 250 questions, you get 175 right, you get a 70%. All right, let's try another one. So 10 is 5% of what number? Let's go ahead and try it out. 100 is our freebie. We have a percent, it's 5. 10 is, that's our top, is our top. Of what number? We don't know. That's our x. All right, let's go ahead and cross multiply. X times 5 is 5x equals 10 times 100 is going to be 1,000. We're going to box the variable, divide by 5, that's what it's attached to, and we're going to do 1,000 divided by 5 also. Our 5s are going to cancel out. We're going to get x equals, and 1,000 divided by 5 is going to be 200. So if you had a 200 question test and you only got 10 answers right, that's a 5%. It's pretty pitiful. All right, here we go. What number is 45% of 180? Set up my fraction bars. 100 is my freebie. I have a percent. It's 45. What number is? We don't know, so that's the top. And of 180, that's the bottom. We're going to cross multiply here. So x times 100 equals 100x. And then 180 times 45 is going to be 8,100. We're going to box the variable, divide by 100, and do the same thing to the other side. The 100s cancel. You're left with x equals, and that should be 81. So if you got 81 questions right, the test was 180 questions, you got a 45%. Okay, let's move on. 40% of what number is 82? So we set up our fraction bars. 100 is our freebie. Our percent is 40, that goes on top. Of what number? That's our bottom. We don't know. Is 82? That's our top. We're going to cross multiply. X times 40 is 40x equals 82 times 100 is 8,200. We're going to box the variable, divide by 40. Do the same thing to the other side. The 40s are going to cancel. You're left with x equals 8,200 divided by 40 is going to be 205. All right, let's try another one. What percent of 90 is 36? All right, set up our fraction bars and set them equal to each other. 100 is our freebie. What percent? We don't know. That's our x. Of 90, that's our bottom. Is 36? That's our top. We're going to cross multiply. 9 times x is 90x equals 36 times 100 is going to be 3,600. We're going to box our variable, divide by the coefficient, which is 90. Do that to both sides. Our 90s cancel. We're left with x equals, and 3,600 divided by 90 is going to be 40. All right, last one. 60 is 25% of what number? All right, set up your fraction bars, set them equal to each other. 100 is your freebie, 25% is on top, 60 is, that's our top number, of what number? That's our bottom number. Go ahead and cross multiply. X times 25 is 25x. 60 times 100 is going to be 6,000. Box your variable, divide by 25. Do that to both sides to be fair. The 25s cancel. You're left with x equals, and 6,000 divided by 25 is going to be 240. Okay, so we're going to take it up a level. So we're using the same exact formula. Is over of equals percent over 100. Salvador poured 6 cups of water into a jug. The jug was 40% filled. How many cups of water does the jug hold? So here's why this becomes a little harder. You don't have your key words is and of. So I need you to think of it this way. Of is the whole, as in the whole pizza. Is the part, as in one slice of the pizza. So, remember each time we were doing those problems, I would talk to you as if this was a test. And you remember, this number right here was the whole, all the questions on the test. This number here was the part. That is the part that you got right on the test. And so that's how you need to think of this. So we're going to set up our fraction bar, set them equal to each other. 100 is still our freebie. Our percent 40 still goes in the same spot. Now the question is this 6 the part or the entire thing? Well, let's read it again. Salvador poured 6 cups of water into a jug. The jug was 40% full or filled. How many cups of water does the jug hold? So if pouring in 6 cups fills it 40%, is it all the way filled or part filled? If you thought part filled, you're correct. So the 6 goes on the is, which is the part. Your x will go on the whole. We're going to cross multiply as normal. X times 40 is going to be 40x. 100 times 6 is going to be 600. Set them equal to each other. We're going to box the variable, divide by the coefficient that's attached to it. The 40s are going to cancel. You're left with x equals, and 600 divided by 40 is going to give you 15. That means that the entire jug, when it's 100% full, can hold 15 cups of water. All right, let's try another one. There are 30 students in Miss Jones's class. 60% of her class is made up of girls. How many girls are in Mrs. Jones's class? Okay, so again, we have our formula. It has not changed. But I want to remind you, the of is the whole, the complete. The is the part. Okay? So set up your fraction bar, set them equal to each other. The 100 is always our freebie. We have a percent, which is 60. Let's read the problem one more time. Is this 30 going to be part of the class or the whole class? There are 30 students in Mrs. Jones's class. 60% of her class is made up of girls. How many girls are in Mrs. Jones's class? So, this 30 students, is that only 60% of them, or is that the whole class? If you said that's the whole class, you are correct. What we're trying to find is this part right here, which would be the girls. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. So 30 times 60 is going to give us 1,800 or 1,800. 100 times x is going to give us 100x. Let's set them equal to each other. All right, we're going to box our variable, divide by the coefficient that's attached to it, which is 100. The 100s cancel. You're left with x equals, and your answer should be 18. That means that there are 18 girls out of 30 in Miss Jones's class. All right, let's look at one more. Roberta answered 17 of the questions on her test correctly. If there were 20 questions on her test, what percent did Roberta earn? So again, I'm going to call your attention to this formula. It has not changed. The only thing that you need to remember is that this bottom part is the whole, the complete story, and this top number is the part. All right, set up your fraction bar, set them equal to each other. Our freebie is still 100. We do not have a percent. That's where our x goes. Now, where does the 17 and the 20 go? Let's take a look. Roberta answered 17 of the questions on her test correctly. If there were 20 questions on the test, what percentage did Roberta earn? What is the whole? Well, if you said 20, you're right. 20 is the complete number of test questions. What's the part? 17, because that's the part that she got correct. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. 20 times x is 20x. 100 times 17 is going to be 1700. Let's rewrite it and set them equal to each other. All right, we're going to box the variable, divide by 20, which is the coefficient. These 20s cancel. You're left with x equals 1700 divided by 20 is going to give you 85. So what does this mean in terms of the problem? Well, 17 questions right out of a 20 question test is going to be an 85% for Roberta. All right, this is the end of this lesson. Remember that you can always rewind, fast forward, or pause if you need to review, and you can always ask me questions in class.